Welcome back. Right now we are going to focus on health and wellness, and we have Sunshine Harston here. She is a holistic practitioner joining us from Spanish Fork, Utah. I'm looking forward to meeting her, learning more about her philosophy, how she is helping others, and much more. Sunshine, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So glad that you came up. I know it's a long way to travel, but I love meeting people all around the state who are making a huge difference with health and wellness. So tell me a little bit about what you do as a holistic practitioner.
So I help people heal on the deepest levels possible. When it comes to healing, I believe healing takes place in our mind, our body, and our spirit, and it's a collective whole. And so instead of focusing on the symptoms and treating the symptoms, I like getting to the root of the problem and helping people heal at the deepest level so that they can experience joy and experience true happiness. Because a lot of times our pain, when we're living from pain or wounds or trauma, it's hard for us to experience joy or to be able to step into what it is that we're wanting to do, and we have a tendency of living from that pain. And so I have a deep passion of just helping people be able to go on that journey and experience that healing.
Tell me about the decision behind going into this field. What made you interested in it to begin with?
I've always loved and have been very passionate about behavior and understanding why people do the things that they do and what triggers behavior. And at a very young age, I wanted to go into the world of psychology. And as I grew up and as I got older, I started learning about other practices and methodologies like yoga and essential oils and meditation, and I started seeing earlier on in my life that there was more to healing and more to wellness than just one type of industry. And as I got older and as I got married, my husband had gotten diagnosed with cancer, and when we started diving into the world of cancer and we started realizing that there were so many different directions to go, I started realizing that the body is not just a cut and dry system of you do one thing to make it better. And so that's kind of what led my passion of wanting to dive deep and look at the body as a whole when it came to healing.
You know, it can be hard to know when you're struggling exactly who is the right person to see and how to find that kind of help. So who is your ideal client? Who are the people that benefit from what you do the most?
I think somebody who has an open mind, somebody that, like I said, is looking for really deep healing. I think it's really easy for the human body to just want to have a quick fix. Like, tell me what I need to do so that I can just do A, B, and C so I can get better. I really specialize in going to the vulnerable place and really going within ourselves and confronting ourselves and healing the pain and the trapped emotions and things that are really uncomfortable to talk about and to deal with. And so my ideal client is the person that's ready to dive deep, and they're just ready to transform their life, take their pain and transmute it into something really beautiful for them.
I'm curious, where do you start when you meet someone who is in need of your services? And I know it's going to be different for everyone, of course, but are there certain strategies that you begin with when you meet someone for the first time, when you learn more about them? How do you know really where to begin?
Well, I really let the client kind of direct the conversation and guide me, because everybody has something different that is prevalent or that's weighing on their mind. Some people will start off with a physical symptom that they're having. And so by a physical symptom, that gives me information. Our physical symptoms in our body kind of tells us what's going on emotionally and spiritually within us. So for example, there was one time that I had a client that she was dealing with a lot of different issues, but the very first thing that she talked about was that she had heart problems and she had asthma, and she as a kid had a lot of bronchitis. And so because of some of the background that I have, I was able to recognize some of the emotions that are trapped within the heart cavity, the chest cavity. And so my first question that I said is, can you tell me about deep grief or loss or mourning that you've experienced in your life? And she goes, how did you know? And she talked about experiencing divorce as a child, with her parents getting a divorce, and she experienced her husband passing away a few years prior. And so she had deep grief, and it's rooted, when we have deep grief, it can be rooted in our chest cavity. And so that was a physical symptom. And so that gave me the understanding of, here's something something that we get to address or that we can talk about and help her work through to help alleviate some of those physical symptoms. Other people might come to me and express problems that they are experiencing with depression or anxiety or some type of trauma, and we can kind of start working on it at an emotional level. Some people will come to me and talk to me about belief systems that they have. I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I have to prove myself. I feel like I have to be perfect. And so through the thought processes and the thought belief systems, that gives me a starting place to know, okay, there's a trigger to this, and this is there's a root to this problem that we can address too. So it kind of really depends on the individual and what they bring to me to be able to start and meet them where they're at.
And digging into those deep emotional wounds can be so hard at first, but very beneficial. Do you ever have clients or individuals who want to give up, who are having such a hard time addressing those wounds that they're worried about continuing? How do you encourage them to keep going on this journey and keep looking at these deep emotions?
I think, first of all, that is the hardest work that we have to do here, is confronting ourselves and working through our deep inner pain and our deep hurt, because our bodies are designed to protect us. They are designed to keep us safe. And so the body is going to do everything it can to stay away from danger and to not have to go there because it hurts too bad. And so first of all, like, that type of work is the hardest work that we have to do. And so one of the things that I really love to implement with each individual that I work with is helping them to see the value that they have. I really feel like that we've forgotten that we are special. We each have something special to offer to the world and to bring and to contribute. But I think because of the pain that we've experienced throughout our lives and the things that we've endured, we've forgotten about that. And there's a lot of times that we feel hopeless or we feel like we're not enough. And so when we live from those feelings or those belief systems, I think sometimes it makes it hard to have the hope or the desire to want to continue on confronting and facing something that is really difficult. And so at the same time, simultaneously working through that and helping them to form that self-love and confidence, I think it makes it easier to have that belief in yourself to continue to go forward, because it's not really me that's doing the work. I'm just on the ride with them. And it's them taking the tools and them doing that. And so I think it's a matter of helping them to be able to see their potential and have the hope and the motivation to want to continue going forward, believing in themselves.
Being able to see that yourself, see your worth, and gain that confidence, it's life-changing. And I know you recently came here less than a year ago from Colorado.
Yeah.
How has that transition been, and especially with what you do within your work as a holistic practitioner?
Transitions, I think, are always a little bit tricky because, again, we always have a tendency of wanting to fall back to what's comfortable, what we know, what we like, because it feels safe. And so when we transition, when we do something that's outside of our comfort zone, there's always an area of vulnerability. So just like with any other transition, I've had the invitation to be able to learn to bloom where I'm planted and to start over and build a home here. And so that part has been filled with like a lot of messages and invitations of growth for me. But it's also been wonderful to be able to meet people, because I feel like we each have a story and there's always something that I get to learn from somebody else. And so learning about other people's stories and connecting is always something that's really special for me.
Oh, that's so wise. And I know people would love to continue this conversation and learn more about you. How can they contact you and find out everything that you're doing and involved in?
So my website is www.sunshineharston.com. There is when I have all my services, and you can schedule an appointment with me. And then I also have a Facebook group that's called Sunshine Served Daily. And that's just a fun little group where I like to post uplifting messages or stories or provide ideas or tools for you to plug in and edify and nourish your life.
And that Facebook group is really for anyone, anywhere that wants that positivity.
Yes, it's for anybody. I love connecting with people, and I think so much, especially today, we need more places where we can be uplifted and edified and have a safe place where we can be vulnerable. And so I wanted to provide that platform to give that to other people.
Oh, so very well said. Thank you so much, Sunshine. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Really good to hear about your philosophy, how you're helping others and bringing this positivity into people's lives. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and get back with much more here on Mountain Connection. So stick with us. We'll be right back.